I plan all 185 days of my school year before students ever walk into the band room. Every concert, festival, trip, holiday, testing day, assembly, and rehearsal already has a place on my calendar. By the first day of school, I have a plan for every single day for the entire school year. Let's get into it. The first things I add to my yearly calendar are all major school and district events. In my calendar template, I enter holidays, teacher work days, professional development days, staff meetings, minimum days, testing windows, rallies, assemblies, picture days, field trips, and any other events that I need to account for. I want all of that information in one place before I begin planning rehearsals because every event on the school calendar affects how much instructional time I actually have. A concert may be 10 weeks away on paper, but that does not mean I have 10 full weeks of rehearsal. One week may include state testing, another may include a rally that shortens class, or a whole grade level may be gone for a field trip. The biggest lesson I've learned here is to stay informed with what is happening at your school. It allows you to be proactive about how you run your program around the bigger picture, which is your school as a community. Please do not fall into the trap of believing your program is the center of your school universe, because school and district events will almost always take precedent. If you account for these things, it allows you to plan around the time that you actually have throughout the year, and it keeps you from feeling unsupported as a staff member. Being genuinely unsupported and being uninformed about a rally that impedes on your class times are two different things. So start your calendar off with a solid foundation of school and district events that are out of your control. Once all that is taken care of, I add in all of my concerts, tentative festival dates, and all other band-related events. These dates become the anchors of the entire year because they are the things that all my rehearsals and planning lead to. I look at my performance dates and then work backward by 2 or 3 months to decide when performance music should be passed out. Depending on the ensemble, the difficulty of the music, and the demands of that particular concert season, I want to make sure I give myself enough time to prepare for each performance. For festivals, I don't have official dates during my summer planning, but I know they take place in March and early April, so I always mark my calendar to start festival music the day we come back from winter break in January. Choosing performance music over summer is a major part of making this calendar system work. I do my best to select music for the entire year because those pieces will determine what my students need to learn throughout the year. I have my foundation of fundamental skills for each grade level I teach, but sometimes I also need to account for specific things that will come up in performance music that my students need to be prepared for during rehearsals. After I add in school events, performance dates, and I've marked when to pass out performance music, I finally begin planning every single day of instruction. Every instructional day has a plan. I want to be clear that I am not writing a formal lesson plan for every rehearsal, but I do write an itemized list of everything we will accomplish from the start of class to the end of class. This gives every rehearsal a purpose. I'm not simply going through the motions during our warm-up and fundamentals, nor am I deciding which piece to rehearse based on what feels most urgent that day. Instead, I already know how each rehearsal fits into my larger plan. Now let's get into what each day looks like in my calendar. For our fundamentals, we cover breathing exercises, long tones, scales, articulations, intervals, timing, chorales, and sight reading. Every single day of instruction will have a combination of some or all of these elements. And by the end of each week, all of these elements have been worked on a number of times. In my district, we exclusively use Sound Innovations as our method book, and I also include some supplemental materials and Sight Reading Factory into my own rehearsals. Having the method book helps with the pacing of my rehearsals, especially at the beginning of the year when we take time to review and get a foundation that we can build off of for the rest of the year. As of recording this video, I've been at my school for 10 years, so I have a solid grasp of the yearly scope of the fundamentals that my students should be learning. I also have a strong understanding of the pacing my students need throughout the year. In my calendar template, the bulk of my rehearsals are focused on fundamentals, but I always adjust things when I start adding in the plans for performance music. When it comes to adding in performance music plans, I focus on full band sections of the music first. Then I'll move to sections of the music where fewer instruments play together, and I will end with sections with the least number of instruments that play together. This structure benefits me in a few ways. Focusing on full band sections at the beginning of the concert cycle, especially for middle school students? Yes, please. This gives every student a job for this first chunk of rehearsals, and classroom management takes care of itself because all students are playing all the time. As we move into parts of the music where only a handful of instruments play, the focus changes for students who are not playing. Maybe it's sectional time, or it's time for them to actively count rests to make sure that their next entrance is accurate. In my calendar, every day we rehearse a performance piece, I include the exact measures we will rehearse, which tells me the exact fundamentals I need to cover that day or that week. The pacing of rehearsals may be different from piece to piece, but my golden rule is that we should be able to perform the whole piece 2 weeks before a performance. This guarantees that students are well prepared for the concert ahead of time, and it allows those 2 weeks leading up to the concert to be about solidifying musicality and consistency of performance. After every single day in my calendar has a rehearsal plan, the last things I add in are responsibilities I have behind the scenes. I mark specific days where I pass out and collect permission slips, pass out itineraries, administer a Google form for t-shirt sizes, collect t-shirt money, schedule exit interviews for my 8th graders, inventory checkout at the beginning of the year, inventory check-in and repair at the end of the year, and everything in between. These tasks absolutely need a place on the calendar to make sure they get done at the right time to prevent last-minute decisions. Now, after all of this is said and done, I have a completed calendar of everything that my year consists of all in one place. This does not mean my calendar remains untouched once school begins. I review my calendar every single day and make necessary adjustments as the year develops. An assembly might be rescheduled, our testing schedule might be different from year to year, a concert date might move, students might learn music faster than expected, or students might need more time to prepare. The plan has to evolve with what is going on around you. The difference is that I'm adjusting an existing plan instead of creating one from nothing in the middle of the school year. If we lose a rehearsal because of a schedule change, I can look ahead and decide how the long-term plan will need to adjust. Most of the time, very little needs to change, but there are always 1 or 2 things throughout the whole year that may cause my plans to change quite a bit. Planning the whole school year over summer requires work, but it saves an enormous amount of time and stress later on. I spend less time reacting, less time wondering what comes next, and less time building lesson plans every Sunday night. I can focus more of my energy on teaching, building relationships, and making intentional decisions based on what my band actually needs. You can get the exact calendar spreadsheet I use from the link in the description or the pinned comment of this video. And check out this video to learn everything you need to include in your master calendar. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.